Hello viewers, welcome to online course on Mathematics 3. This course basically for undergraduate student or BTech student of engineering field. Today we are going to discuss about the introduction of group in the chapter of algebraic structure. Myself Sanjay বিশ্বাস, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Applied Science and Humanities of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here is my details of contact information. If you have facing any kind of problem regarding my online class, you can call me or send message through my mail ID sanjay.biswas@gnit.ac.in. Before we start today's lecture, at first we will discuss about the syllabus of algebraic structure. So the syllabus of algebraic structure divided into 6 topics. So the first topic it will be introduction to group, and after that we will discuss about the second topic, that means subgroup and the cyclic group of algebraic structure. Then we will talk about the topic 3, that means permutation group and the symmetric group of algebraic structure. And then we will talk about the coset and the normal subgroup. Okay, they are all belongs to the group theory as well, and quotient group also, and Lagrange's theorem we will discuss in topic 4. And after that we will discuss about the homomorphism and the isomorphism in topic 5. And after that we will talk about the definition of ring, definition of integral domain, and field, and some properties of ring, field, and the integral domain, and some related examples we will discuss in topic 6 of algebraic structure. And after that we will talk some books or references. So there are some references. You will take any one of these books. The first one, you can take Engineering Mathematics 3 by Dashpal, or you can take Abstract Algebra by S.K. Mapa, or you can take for references the Contemporary Abstract Algebra by Joseph A. Gallian, or Abstract Algebra by Damian Foote, or you can study on the Abstract Algebra by I.N. Hanstein, or you can take for references Abstract Algebra, the theory and application of Thomas W. Judson, or you can take for references Abstract Algebra by Ronald Solomon, University Press. So you can take any one or two books for references, but I suggest the Abstract Algebra by S.K. Mapa and Contemporary Abstract Algebra by Joseph A. Gallian. These two books are very important for useful for the abstract algebra. That means for group theory and ring, field, and integral domain. Okay. Now we will move on the next slide. We will start with my first lecture. So my first lecture it will be introduction to group in module 5, that means algebraic structure. So in this lecture we will discuss about the introduction of group theory, and after that we will talk about the binary operation of algebraic structure, and after that we will study on the algebraic structure of abstract algebra, and then we will study on the definition of group theory, and some related examples we will discuss in the definition of group theory. And then we will talk about the some elementary properties of group theory, and then we will discuss some related examples on the introduction of group, or in lecture 1. So at first we will begin with the introduction of group. So take a look at the following questions. Question number 1. Give a number n which leave a remainder of 20 when divided by 23 and 62 when divided by 83. So in that case, where 20 and 62 are the remainder and it's divided by 23, then 20 is the remainder, and if divided by 83, then it gives 62 as a remainder. Or how many different necklaces can you form with 2 black beads and 8 white beads? Or how many necklaces can you form with blue, green and black beads? Or what are the last 2 digits of a to the power 40 when a is not divisible by 2 or 5? Okay, so these are the questions. Or when does the equation of the form x minus y is equal to z make sense? If x is a natural number or an integer or a matrix or an apple or a permutation. The permutation is also the group. Okay. When we look at this question, they seem unrelated and seem to have no common thread. But the mathematician realized long time back that the problem in algebra, number theory, even geometry can be solved using very similar technique. So therefore, they were interested in finding out the common elements among this proof and were interested in searching for more demands where such techniques are applicable. Okay, so it turns out that there is a single mathematical theory which can help us understanding this question in a single framework. And you know the questioner I have mentioned in the previous slide. So which can help us the understanding this question in a single framework and give us the answer to this seemingly non-related topics. And this mathematical framework which ties this question together is called abstract algebra. Okay, this is the definition of abstract algebra. So among these questions are defined in a single framework, and this mathematical framework which ties this question together is called the abstract algebra. So there is a theorem, fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, this is the fundamental theorem of algebra also. Every integer greater than 1 can be uniquely expressed as the product of primes up to different ordering. Okay, this is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So after that we will discuss about the binary operation. So this is the very important part of group theory. Okay, so the basic part of group theory. So let A be a non-empty set. So you know what is the definition of set. The collection of well-ordering object is called a set. A non-empty set, that means there exists at least one element in that set. Okay, so it's called a non-empty set. So A be a non-empty set, then A cross A, and A cross A is the Cartesian product, you know that. So A cross A is equal to a point, that means A comma B, such that A comma B belongs to A. So in that case, where A and B be two elements are in A. So a mapping F such that A cross A to A. So A cross A is the Cartesian product to a element A. That means A be a non-empty set, you know that. So a Cartesian product to a non-empty set, this is the mapping, is called a binary operation or the binary composition on a set. Okay, so in general a binary operation is denoted by this or this. This is the star or this is the composition. Okay, so the image of the ordered pair A comma B under the binary operation is denoted by A composition B. So the binary operation is also denoted by A composition B. Thus, composition is a binary operation, then A composition B is also belongs to A, for all A B belongs to A. And A is said to be closed under the binary operation composition. Okay. So if A comma B is belongs to A, then A composition B is also belongs to A. Then A is called the closed under the binary operation composition. So here is the example. The operation addition. So addition, subtraction, multiplication are all the binary composition. So the operation addition in a binary operation on the set of integer z. So you know z is the set of integer as 2 plus 3. So 2 and 3 are all belongs to z, you know that. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 and 5 is also belongs to z. 9 plus minus 1 is equal to 8 and 8 is also belongs to z. So in general, A plus B is belongs to z, for all A B belongs to z. So this is the binary operation. That means plus is the binary operation on the set of integers. As well, the operation subtraction is not a binary operation. Why it is not binary operation? So the definition of binary operation is if A comma B is belongs to A, so A, B, B, two elements in A, then their composition, that means A composition B is also belongs to A. Otherwise, it is not a binary operation. So in the first problem where z plus, that means plus is the binary operation and z is a set of integer. So the operation plus on the set of integer is a binary operation. But the operation subtraction is not a binary operation. Why it is not? It's a set of all natural numbers. So you know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all natural numbers. But 2 minus 3, where minus is the binary operation. So 2 minus 3 is equal to, you know that, minus 1. And you know that minus 1 does not belongs to n. As well, 2 minus 5. So 2 and 5 are all belongs to n. But 2 minus 5 does not belongs to n. So 2 minus 5 is equal to minus 3 and minus 3 is not a natural number. So the operation subtraction on the set of natural number is not a binary operation. That is, their composition is not closed. Again, we will take another example, the operation composition defined by A composition B is equal to AB by 7. So in that case, the composition is A into B by 7 is a binary operation of all set of rational numbers. So as 3 into 5, so, and you know that 3 and 5 both are the rational number, then 3 composition 5 is equals to 3 into 5 by 7. So composition is actually the relation. So in that case, where the relation is A into B by 7. So 3 into 5 by 7, it is equals to 15 by 7, and 15 by 7 is the rational number, you know that, and it is belongs to Q. So the operation composition is defined by A composition B is equal to AB by 7 is a binary operation on the set of all rational number is a binary operation. Okay, and if we take A comma B is belongs to Z, say set of integer, and satisfy this relation, that means the A composition B is equal to AB by 7, it is not a binary operation. Why? So A and B are belongs to Z, but A composition B, it is not belongs to Z. Z is the set of integer, but A into B by 7 is a fractional number. If we take A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 3, then from composition we will get 2 into 3, that means 6 by 7. So 6 by 7 is a fractional number. It is not belongs to Z. So Z composition is not a binary operation, but the composition on the set of rational number or set of real number, it is a binary operation. Understood? So after that, we will discuss some various type of operations. So at first we will begin with the unitary operation. So here is the definition of the unitary operation. Let A be a non-empty set, a mapping F such that A cross A to A. So A cross A is the Cartesian product, and A cross A is equal to, you know, A comma B within first bracket such that A B belongs to A. Okay, so is the Cartesian product. 2A is called a binary operation on the set A. In general, a unitary operation is denoted by dash or equivalent or minus, etc. So here is the example of the unitary operations. Let capital S be the set, okay, set of elements, and P of S be its power set. So let S be any set, and S is the collection of three elements, say A, B and C. Okay, so power set of S is the combination of all elements. That means E, comma A, comma B, comma C, comma AB, comma AC, comma BC, comma ABC. So P of S be the power set, and P of S contain 2 to the power 3, that means 8 elements, and they are E, so E is the identity element, A itself, B itself, C itself, AB, so AB is the combination of A and B, BC, CA and ABC. So there are 8 elements in a power set of the set S. Okay, that is P of S is set of all subset of S. Let dash, and dash is a unitary operator, is defined as A dash, and A dash is equal to complement of A in that case with respect to S. So from this example we see that the elements in the complement of A is lies in P of S. Now we see that if A is belongs to S, then A dash, that is the complement of A with respect to S, is also belongs to P of S. So dashed, that means the unitary operation such that P of S tends to P of S is a mapping. So dashed is a unitary operator. So in that case, where A be any set and the elements of A are lies in P of S, so P of S is the power set and its complement, this is the P of A dash, and A dash equals, you know, that S minus A. The elements of A dash is also belongs to P of S. So A dash is a unitary operator. Okay, so after that we will take one more examples on the unitary operator. Let D12, and D12 is equal to the set of all factors of 12. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. So D12 contain the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12 with the set of all factors of 12. And let minus, this is the unitary operator, be defined as n bar. Okay, so n bar is equal to 12 by n. So we see that if n is belongs to D12, so n is equal to, you know, that is either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 or 12, and after dividing by n we'll get the elements, and these elements are all belongs to D12. That means 12 by n is also belongs to D12. So dashed is a mapping from D12 to D12. So dashed is a unitary operator. So in both cases, the complement of A as well as dash, that means the set of all factors of 12, are the unitary operations. And after that we will take one more operation on binary operation, the commutative operation. So a binary operation composition is said to be a commutative on a set A if A composition B is equal to B composition A for all AB belongs to A. Okay, so the operation addition is a composition on any set, but the operation subtraction is not the commutative operation. So for example, say 2 comma 3 is belongs to n. Okay, so where n is a set of natural number. So the operation plus, in that case 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and 5 is belongs to n. So plus on the set of natural number is a commutative operation. That means 2 plus 3 is equal to 3 plus 2. Okay, but the operation subtraction, that means 2 minus 3, and this is equals to minus 1, but 3 minus 2 is equal to plus 1. That is 2 minus 3 is not equal to 3 minus 2. That means the operation subtraction is not a commutative on the set of natural number or set of integer. And after that we will discuss the associative operations. So here is the definition of associative operation. A binary operation composition is said to be associative on the set A if A composition B composition C, so B composition C is within bracket, is equal to A composition B within first bracket composition C for all ABC belongs to A. So the operation multiplication is associative on the set of natural number, but the operation subtraction is not associative on the set of natural number. So for example, 1, 2, 3. So these three elements are in set of natural number. So in a multiplication, so when the operation is a multiplication, then 1 into 2 into 3, so 2 into 3 within bracket, and this is equals to 6. As well, 1 into 2 and 1 into 2 within bracket into 3, and this is also 6. So the left hand side and right hand side are equal. For 1 in 2, 3 belongs to n. So the operation multiplication is associative, but 1 minus 2 minus 3 is not equals to 1 minus 2 within bracket minus 3. So the operation subtraction is not a associative on the set of natural number. So after that we will discuss about the algebraic structure. Okay, so what is the algebraic structure? And this is the basic part of the group theory. So a non-empty set A equipped with one or more binary operation is called an algebraic structure. Okay, so we shall denote the algebraic structure with binary operation composition as is either a comma b within first bracket or a comma composition within less than greater than. Okay, so for example, n plus, so the set of natural number, comma plus, and plus is the composition, or z minus, where the set is a set of integer, comma minus, and minus is the binary operation, or r plus dot. So here r is the set of real number, plus and dot are the binary operations, are the algebraic structure, where r plus dot is an algebraic structure we equipped with two binary operation, addition and the multiplication. So after that we will talk about the groupoid. Okay, so and it is also depend on the algebraic structure. So an algebraic structure in which a non-empty set G is equipped with only one binary operation, say composition, is called a groupoid and is denoted by G composition or G composition within less than greater than. Or let a comma b is belongs to G. So a b be two elements in G, and G is the non-empty set. You know that this implies a composition B belongs to G. Is called a groupoid. So for example, n plus Q composition. So n plus is the binary operation and it is a set of natural number. Q composition, and composition is the binary operation and Q is the set of rational number. Z minus, so Z is the set of integer and minus is the binary operation, or Z plus are all groupoid. Okay, so that means there exist any two elements such that A composition B, where composition is the binary operation, is also belongs to that set, then this algebraic structure is called a groupoid. And after that we will talk about the composition table. So what is the composition table? So a binary operation composition is defined on the non-empty finite set A can be described by a table called the composition table. And if the number of elements of A be n, then the table has n rows and n columns. Okay, and all the elements of A are placed in a row at the top and in a column at the left of the table in the same order. Okay, this is called a composition table, but composition is the binary operation. And after that we will study on the identity elements. So what is the identity elements? So here is the definition of identity element. So an element E in G is said to be an identity element in a groupoid G composition. Okay, where composition is the binary operation. If A composition E is equal to E composition A is equal to A for all A belongs to G, and you know A G is the non-empty set. If A composition E is equal to A for all A belongs to G, then E is said to be the right identity in the groupoid G composition, and if E composition A is equal to A for all A belongs to G, then E is said to be the left identity. So in that case, where E lies in the left hand side of this composition, but in the above case where E, that is the identity, lies in the right on the composition and is said to be the right identity of the groupoid G composition. So for example, in a groupoid Q plus, 0 is the identity element, and in the groupoid Q dot 1 is the identity element. So in a binary operation plus, the 0 is the identity element, and in a binary operation dot, that means multiplication, the 1 is the identity element. Okay, so after that we will talk about the inverse element. So let E be the identity element of a groupoid G composition and satisfy the relation A composition B is equal to B composition A is equal to E, but is the identity. Then B is called the inverse of A, or A is called the inverse of B. And if B is called the inverse of A, and is denoted by A inverse. And if A is called the inverse of B, and then it is denoted by B inverse. Okay, you can take any one of these two. So after that we will talk about the semi-group. This is a very important part of the algebraic structure. So a groupoid G composition is said to be a semi-group if the binary operation composition is associative. That is, if A composition B composition C, where B composition C within first bracket, that is equals to A composition B, where A composition B within first bracket composition C for all ABC belongs to G, or G composition, the algebraic structure G composition is said to be a semi-group if it satisfies the closure property and associative property. That means if A composition B belongs to G for all AB belongs to G, and A composition B composition C is equal to A composition B within bracket composition C for all ABC belongs to G. So a algebraic structure G composition is said to be a semi-group if it satisfies the closure property as well as associative property, or a groupoid G composition is said to be a semi-group if the binary operation composition is associative. Okay, so A composition B composition C within bracket is equal to A composition B within bracket composition C for all ABC belongs to G. So here is the example of the semi-group. A groupoid N plus is a semi-group, as A plus B plus C is equal to A plus B plus C. Okay, but B plus C in the first left side within bracket, and in the right side A plus B within bracket, and holds for all ABC belongs to N. But the groupoid n minus is not a semi-group, as a minus b minus c is not equals to a minus b minus c. So after that we will discuss about the monoid of the algebraic structure. So a semi-group with an identity element is called the monoid. Thus a groupoid G composition is said to be a monoid if it satisfies the associative property as well as the identity property. That means there exists an element E in G called identity element, such that E composition A or is equal to A composition A is equal to A for all A belongs to G, where E is the identity element. So for example, the groupoid Z dot is a monoid, as A dot B dot C is equal to A dot B dot C. So where B dot C in left within bracket and in the right side A dot B within bracket. For all ABC belongs to Z, and one is the identity elements belonging to Z. Where one is the identity element. So Z dot is a monoid. But the groupoid E dot, where E is the set of all even integer, is a semi-group, but it is not a monoid because the identity element is not belongs to E. You know that in a binary operation multiplication, one is the identity element, but one is not belongs to E. So E dot, where E is the set of all even integer, is not a monoid, but it is a semi-group. So after that we will define the group. So what is the definition of a group? A non-empty set G is said to form a group with respect to the operation composition, or the algebraic structure G composition is said to be a group if it satisfies the closure property, associative property, identity property and inverse property. So what is the closure property? G is said to be closed, that means satisfy the closure property if A comma B belongs to G implies A composition B belongs to G, or A composition B belongs to G for all AB belongs to G is called the closure property. And it is satisfy the associative property as well, that means A composition B composition C, where B composition C within first bracket, and it is equals to A composition B, where A composition B within first bracket composition C for all ABC belongs to G. And it satisfies the identity element as well, that means there exists an element E in G such that A composition E is equal to A for all A belongs to G. And the fourth property will be inverse property. So for each element A in G, there exists an inverse element A inverse in G such that A composition A inverse is equal to E. And this group is denoted by G composition within bracket, first bracket, or G composition within less than or greater than. That is the definition of group. And after that we will talk about the abelian group and the commutative group. So what is the abelian group? Say group G composition is said to be an abelian group or the commutative group if composition is commutative. That means A composition B is equal to B composition A for all AB belongs to G. So now we will define the finite group and its order. So if in a group G composition, the underlying set G consists of a finite number of distinct elements, then the group is called the finite group, and otherwise it is called an infinite group. And the number of elements of a finite group is called the order of the group and is denoted by O of G or modulus of G. So let us move on the next slide. So in this slide we will discuss some examples on the group theory. So that the set of all rational number is an abelian group with respect to addition. So you know, in a group G composition and you know the algebraic structure G composition is said to be a group if it satisfies the following four conditions. That means G composition is closed, it is associative, it satisfies the identity element and the inverse element, then it is a group. So in this problem we will discuss the four properties of group theory. So let us consider the set of all rational number q. Okay, q is a set of rational number with the binary operation addition. Then for any a, b, c belongs to q, we have a plus b belongs to q. That means sum of the two rational number is a rational number, we know that. So q composition, that means q plus is satisfy the closure property, and after that a plus b plus c, where b plus c within bracket is equal to a plus b within bracket plus c. So the operation addition is associative for all ABC belongs to Q. And after that we will talk about the identity elements. That means A plus 0 is equal to 0 plus A is equal to A for all A belongs to Q. So 0 is the identity element and 0 is belongs to Q. So Q plus is satisfied the identity elements. And a plus minus a is equal to minus a plus a is equal to 0. So for all a belongs to Q, so the inverse of a is minus a, and minus is also belongs to Q. Hence the set of all rational number form a group with respect to the addition. That means Q plus is a group, and a plus b is equal to b plus a for all a b belongs to Q. So Q plus is a abelian group. So Q plus satisfy the following four conditions of a group, as well the commutative group, as well satisfy a plus b is equal to b plus a. So Q plus is a abelian group. So after that we will take one more examples on the group theory, so that the set of all natural number is not a group with respect to the multiplication. So here is the proof. So let us consider the set of all natural number n on which the operation multiplication is defined. So in this problem we will prove that the algebraic structure n dot is not a group. That means n dot is not satisfy any of the four following properties of a group. So you know that it either not satisfy the closure property or associative property or identity property or inverse property. So you know that n is closed with respect to the multiplication, as well as the multiplication is associative of set of natural number, and also 1 is the identity element of the operation multiplication of set of natural number, and also 1 is belongs to n. And you know that 1 dot a is equal to a dot 1 is equal to a for all a belongs to n. So n dot is satisfy the closure property, associative property, as well as the identity property. But 1 by a dot a is equal to a dot 1 by is equal to 1, where 1 is the identity element for all a belongs to n. So 1 by a is the inverse of a, but 1 by a does not belongs to n. So 1 by is the fractional numbers, and 1 by is not belongs to n for a not equals to 1. Thus the inverse of 1 by a does not exist for each element a belongs to n, hence n dot is not a group. So the inverse property is not satisfied in that case. Therefore n dot is not a group. So after that we will talk about some elementary properties of the group theory. So the first property will be, if a comma b comma c are any elements of a group G composition, then A composition B is equal to A composition C, and this implies B is equal to C. And this is the left cancellation law. And B composition A is equal to C composition A, and this implies B is equal to C, and is a right cancellation law. So here is the proof of the first property. So you know a G composition be a group, so the inverse property is also satisfied in that case. So if A is belongs to G, so A inverse is also belongs to G, and such that A composition A inverse is equal to A inverse composition A is equal to E, where E is the identity element. So from the above property we take A composition B is equal to A composition C. Okay, so now taking A inverse, the operation on the left, on the both side of this relation, we get A inverse composition A composition B is equal to A inverse composition A composition C. Okay, So now applying the associative property of group theory, we get A inverse composition A. Okay, after applying the associative property, we will get this one. A inverse composition A composition B is equal to A inverse composition A composition C. And you know that A inverse composition A is equal to E. Okay, it's the identity of the group G composition. So E composition B is equal to E composition C, where A inverse is the inverse of A. So from this we will get B is equal to C. So similarly, we will prove that B composition A is equal to C composition A implies B is equal to C, and this is the right cancellation. See, so in that case, the operating A inverse on the right of the both side of this equation or of this relation will get B is equal to C. Now we will go to the second properties of group theory. So in a group G composition, the left identity is also the right identity, or the right identity is also the left identity. So here is the proof. Let E be a left identity in a group G composition. Okay, so then E composition A is equal to A for all A belongs to G. So in that case, E is the left identity. Okay, and also let A inverse be the left inverse of A. So therefore, A inverse composition A is equal to E. So where G composition be proved. So now A inverse of A composition E, and this is equals to A inverse composition E after applying the associative property will get this one, and A inverse composition A is equal to E, and E composition is equal to E, and E is equal to A inverse composition A. So therefore A inverse of A composition E, that means A inverse composition E is equal to A inverse composition A. So from this we will get A composition E, after considering that A inverse on both, we will get A composition E is equal to A by left cancellation law. So hence E is the right identity. So therefore E with a left identity in a group G composition, and from this we will get the right identity of a group G composition. So similarly we can prove the alternative theorem. So if in a group G composition, the right identity is also the left identity. So now we will move on the third property on the group theory. So the identity element and the inverse of an element in a group G composition are unique. So here is the proof. Let E and E dash be two identity elements of a group G composition. Then E composition E dash is equal to E dash composition E is equal to E dash, where E is the identity element and E dash be any element in G, as well as E dash composition E is equal to E composition E dash is equal to E. So in that case, E dash is the identity element and E is be any element of a group G. So combining these two equations, we will get E is equal to E dash. That is, the identity element is unique. As well, let A dash and A double dash be two inverse of an element A in G and E be the identity element. So from the inverse property of a group, we have A composition A dash is equal to A dash composition A is equal to E, and A composition A double dash is equal to A double dash composition A is equal to E. So in the first case, where A dash is the inverse element, and in the second case, where A double dash is the inverse element. Okay. So now combining these two equations, we get A composition A dash is equal to A composition A double dash, and by left cancellation law, from this equation we will get A dash is equal to A double dash. That is, the inverse of any element is unique. Okay, that is, identity element and the inverse element in a group G composition are unique. Now move on the fourth property of group theory. So in a group G composition, A inverse of inverse is equal to A for all A belongs to G. So here is the proof. Let E be the identity element in a group G composition, then A inverse composition A is equal to A composition A inverse is equal to E, where A inverse is the inverse of A. This is the inverse property of the group theory. Again, since A inverse belongs to G, then A inverse of inverse is the inverse of A inverse. Okay. A inverse is the inverse of A, as well as A inverse of inverse is the inverse of A inverse. Okay. And this is also belongs to G. So A inverse composition A inverse of inverse is equal to E. And you can write it equation number 2. So from equation 1 and 2 we have A inverse composition A inverse of inverse is equal to A inverse composition A. Now applying the left cancellation law, from this equation we will get A inverse of A is equal to A. Hence the proof of the fourth property of group theory. So after that we will take the fifth property of group theory. In a group G composition, A composition B inverse is equal to B inverse composition A inverse for all AB belongs to G. That is, the inverse of the product of two elements in a group G is the product of the inverse taken in the reverse order. That means B inverse composition A inverse. So here is the proof of the fifth property of group theory. We have A composition B inverse composition A inverse. So applying the associative properties of group theory, we will get A composition B inverse within third bracket composition A inverse. So now again applying the associative properties in the third bracket, we will get A composition B inverse composition A inverse, and you know that B composition B inverse is equal to identity. Okay, so A composition E composition A inverse, where E is the identity element, and A composition is equal to A, you know that. Okay, so A composition A inverse, it is again identity. And B inverse composition A inverse composition A composition B, and this is equals to B inverse composition A inverse composition A composition B. Okay, by applying the associative properties of group theory. And from this we will get B inverse composition. Again we apply the associative properties on the third bracket of the right side of this equation. We will get B inverse composition A inverse composition A composition B, and A inverse composition A is equal to, you know that, E. So B inverse composition E composition B is equal to B inverse composition B, but E composition B is equal to B. So from this we will get E, where E is the identity element. B inverse composition B is equal to E, you know that. So in both cases, E composition B inverse composition A inverse is equal to B inverse composition A inverse composition A composition B. It is equals to E. So hence by definition of the we have B inverse composition A inverse is the inverse of A composition B. That is, A composition B inverse is equal to B inverse composition A inverse for all AB belongs to G. Hence the proof of the fifth property of group theory. Let us move on the next slide. So in this slide we will take an example on the group theory, so that all the roots of the equation x to the power 4 is equal to 1 form a commutative group under the operation multiplication. So it is the solution. So all the roots of the equation x to the power 4 is equal to 1 are plus minus 1 and plus minus I. So we now, so that the set G and G is equal to the elements, that means minus 1 plus 1 minus I plus I. There are 4 elements in a set G, form a group under the operation multiplication. So let us form the following composition table. So in a table where the elements in row are 1 minus 1 I and minus I, and in a column there are 4 elements, that is 1 minus 1 I and minus I, and dot, that means the multiplication in the binary operation. So after multiplying each term we will get a following table, that means 1 minus 1 I minus I. This is the first row. In the second row the elements are 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus I plus I. In the third row the elements are I minus 1 plus 1, and in the fourth row the elements are minus I plus I 1 and minus 1. So from the above table it is clear that the product of any two elements of G lies in G. So G is closed. Again we will take 3 elements, that means 1 I and minus I, and I dot 1 dot minus I, it is equals to plus 1 and I dot 1 dot minus I. So 1 dot minus I within bracket, it is equals to 1. So I dot 1 dot minus I, it is equals to I dot 1 dot minus I. And you can take any three elements different from this, will get the same relation. That means the operation G composition satisfy the associative property. That is, the operation multiplication is associative. And since 1 dot I is equal to I dot 1 is equal to I, 1 dot minus 1 is equal to minus 1 dot 1 is equal to minus 1, etc. So 1 is the identity element in G. So you know, in a multiplication 1 is the identity element and 1 is lies in G. Okay, so G composition satisfies the identity elements. And from the above table, it is obvious that the inverse of 1 is 1, inverse of minus 1 is minus 1, inverse of I is minus I, and inverse of minus I is plus I, respectively. So hence the inverse of every element of G exists in G. Okay, so G composition is a group. As and again, any two elements, say I and minus I, and I dot minus I is equal to minus I dot I, or you can take another two elements, say 1 and minus 1. So 1 dot minus 1 is equal to minus 1 dot 1. So the multiplication is commutative. Hence G composition form a commutative group, and it satisfies the four properties of the group theory as well as the commutative properties. So G composition is a commutative group or abelian group. Okay, so I'll stop here.